ever since I got the Intercity 125 in the solo livery with TTS Sound, I've been wanting to upgrade the speaker. So what I've done is I've gone and purchased myself two Rails exclusive big boomer speakers that go with the TTS decoders. What I'll do is I'll start up the HST with the standard speaker as you get it from Hornby. I'll go through some of the sounds, I'll accelerate the loco away from a standing start, and then what I'll do is I'll fit the decoders and the speakers and then give you a before and after. Right, here's the decoder from the HST, and that's the new speaker. The new speaker is that one there, and they're £10 a piece. I got these from Peter's Spares. That's the standard speaker you get with the Hornby TTS. It's pretty tinny and pretty rubbish, to be honest. You can improve it in certain ways by just maybe sealing it with some black tack, but it's not the greatest. I've just snipped it off. You can see the wires there from the decoder. I've bared the ends of the wire of both to obviously reveal the metal, remove the plastic coating. And what I've got here is I've got a flux pen. I don't like using blobs of flux. It gets messy for me, but so I find using a no clean flux pen dispenser the best. You don't have to clean it afterwards so it doesn't corrode. It's good for some jobs, not good for others. So I'm going to coat the end of the bared wire of the speaker in some of that. This just helps the solder flow. And I've got some lead-free solder here and my soldering iron. There's nothing to worry about when soldering, okay, apart from the hundreds of degrees that are at this tip of the soldering iron, which is obviously a concern, but the actual task itself isn't difficult. Well, it shouldn't be anyway. I'm probably about to prove that wrong. Put a little bit of your solder on the end of the soldering iron, and because it's got flux on it, it'll help the solder flow. And all I'm doing now is I'm coating the copper strands in the silver. Now I hope you can see that. It's very small. That's called tinning. Okay, I've tinned the end of the wire, and I'm going to do the same to the other one. Again, a bit of flux. It's a no clean flux, you don't have to wipe it off. If you're using normal flux, you have to get a wet sponge and clean the part where you've applied the flux, or it could corrode in future. And then just tin it like that, very quick, very simple, done. Okay, that's one half done. Now what I've done here is I've got some heat shrink that you buy. This is 1mm heat shrink, and I've snipped a bit off and put it over the wire, because when I attach the two wires from the decoder, I don't want bare wires crossing and obviously shorting each other out. That'll not do your decoder any good at all. So I've put that in there before I then go and fit the two wires together. So let me do the tinning on this bit, and I'll get hopefully to a stage where I'm putting it together. I'm just using a bit of cork. It stops my flux getting everywhere. I just chuck the wee bit of cork out. It's obviously a scrap. Now the coating on the wire is so thin that you're actually melting it away with the heat of the solder, so that's another reason to use the heat shrink. Okay, right, now just to demonstrate, if you didn't have a clean free flux, you would just give it a good clean with a wet sponge, just normal water. Okay, get into the habit of doing that if you're using that flux. I'm just doing it here for the purposes of the demonstration, okay? Bit of kitchen towel to dry it off. Again, the heat of the soldering iron will dry that off pretty quickly. Right, so I've got 2 ends from the decoder, 2 ends from the speaker. Does not matter which goes to which with the speaker, okay? Not matter at all. I've trimmed these wires a little bit, but I've not trimmed them too much. I probably regret them being a wee bit long, but they can always be tucked away somewhere inside the HST. And in theory, I shouldn't need any more solder on my bit of metal, but I'm going to put a little bit on the actual soldering iron, touch them together and just bring the soldering iron together, and there you go. Simple as that. The heat from the soldering iron reactivates the solder on the 2 tinned wires, it helps them to come together. You shouldn't need any more flux at this stage, okay, because you've already fluxed to clean it and to allow the flow. So there we go, simple as that. The heat shrink then gets put onto the join, or over the join, making sure you're covering it thoroughly. I'm just thinking, have I got enough? Yes, I have. And I just touch the side of the soldering iron onto that heat shrink, and then just melt it, and it's obviously, the name suggests that it shrinks when it's heated, and that just forms a bond over the join. And I'll do the same to the other one, and then jobs are good in. Doesn't matter if you're doing speakers or lighting for a building, the philosophy is the same. You've got to use flux. You should tin the wires to aid easier connection, okay? If you don't use flux of any description, it'll be difficult for the solder to flow. I learnt that at high school. That's a fact that's come in handy when building a model railway. So there we go, this is now ready to get put back into the HST and tested. That's the decoder now fitted back in. The part there is taped down with the black tape that it came with, and the speaker just lies at the back there. Obviously this is the dummy car, there's a bit more space. Just check that the speaker's not fouling any of the internal workings, such as the movement of the bogie there, and that is really it. You can place the speaker down firmly with a bit of double-sided kind of foam backing there, but it's sitting quite fine now, so I'll try it before I fit the body back on with the screws. For fitting the new speaker to the actual power car, the motorised one, what you've got to do is, what I did anyway, is I removed, if I take this out of here, I removed the old speaker enclosure along with the speaker, and then unscrewed the speaker to be left with this enclosure, and then I refitted it into the mounts where it should have been to start with. And then all I did was took this speaker and sat it in nicely fitting in the tray there, and then I'm going to put the body back on, and that's it. So the speaker doesn't get in the way of any of the workings underneath. Well, that's it for the quick how-to on upgrading a speaker from a Hornby TTS decoder. Hope you found it useful. As I said, the ones I've used are rail exclusives. They really are getting a good name, and I say I can't fault them. You can see the difference between the start of the video with the regular speaker and this upgraded rail exclusive one. If you have any questions, please do get in touch. Cheers for now.